Okay, welcome back. The continuation of our previous topic, which was related to old school tech that we don't use anymore, but we think we should, and reminiscing about some of them. In the last episode, we discussed some 7 or 8, but there are more. We could actually do quite a long series of videos with this topic, but I think we're going to stop at 2 or 3, depending on how far we go today. So, without further ado, let's roll the intro and let's start discussing the topic. Okay, go.
Hello. So the last thing I mentioned was probably the tape backups or the tapes.
No.
As I said, LTO.
No.
Okay, so what I miss and what I think that should still become mainstream is the LTO tapes for backups.
Okay.
Because we have become reliant on cloud services. Omega, back in the day, proved that you can actually make a device that is big enough and affordable enough for normal computers. So for small offices, I think that using only cloud may be detrimental. And I think that maybe we should still be bringing back the backup tapes in order to facilitate actually not losing the data.
Okay.
So I think that this is one of those technologies that actually work. They have been proven to work. They are not that expensive. And the only reason why they are right now is because the numbers are so small. And if we manage to produce the drives in much bigger numbers, probably the price would go way down, and it would be affordable, especially for the small data centers, like even the ones that we have at the university. It would make sense to create backups on a separate device on a tape, and then be completely sure that we are malware free and malware resistant when it comes to problems.
Okay.
Okay, and on that topic, I have a controversial one, because this is not controversial enough.
Okay.
Floppy drives.
Floppy drives.
Yes.
Okay, go.
Secure. Okay, this is going to be fun.
Yes.
From the security standpoint.
Okay.
I want to have something that is able to hold data.
Okay.
Without having, yes. Okay, fine. But I want to be able to have something that is able to hold data without having any electronics on it.
Okay.
I don't want to have a device that holds data. I want to have a medium, and this medium needs to be electronics free. Because it has been proven time and again that if you use something like USB drives and whatever, you actually need to put the controller in. And as soon as you put the controller in, some smart ass designs something that is going to use the controller as an attack vector.
Okay.
So I would like to have the floppy disk in some way or form redeveloped, maybe as a mini disk, maybe as a floptical device, maybe as whatever. But I would like to see something like this instead of just having devices that use electronics. So it's a security thing. I would like to have this remanaged in such a way that it makes sense from the security perspective.
Okay, that sounds cool. I'd like to add at least one thing. Let me think about it. So, as long as you are talking about the magnetic media for backups that is not DAT, I'm with you. Because those were...
No, I didn't mention that.
Okay, LTO is good.
Purposely.
I mean, they are in the same family of technologies still. As long as it's not DAT, which stands for digital audio tape. Actually, it was perhaps something that we mentioned in the previous episode for a second. If we didn't, there you go.
Yes.
I think I did.
While we were talking about the
mini
discs,
Yeah.
I think that we mentioned that there was a DAT standard for digital audio tape. But to be completely honest, I hate standards that are trying to do two things at the same time.
Yeah, me too. Going back to what you started with, so I distinctly remember the days when the magnetic media kind of like started exploding in terms of capacity and everything else. You mentioned I Omega. Yeah, I remember those very well. I used to work at a graphic studio, so for publishing, in which we used the iOmega Jazz, which was basically the biggest media at the time that you could exchange for a reasonable amount of money. I mean, semi-reasonable, because the zip drives were quite smaller, 100 megabytes and 250, if I remember correctly, something like that. And yeah, but I like that idea a lot. I'm with you on that. I usually have, for reasons that I explained in many previous episodes, I have the floppies always with me. And actually, one of our colleagues gifted, as a Christmas present, a box of floppies to me, as he knows that I'm using them for my synthesizers for sounds and backup and whatnot. I usually keep them actually at two places, and for the most part, in the past, when I used to play much more music live, I used synthesizers that had both, so floppy and the optical drive, and hard disk in usually as well. For the synth connoisseurs, one of the synths that I used for many years for live playing was a Triton Studio, which had all of those, and I had at least sounds at least on two media, even sometimes even on three. So I kept it on the optical media because it had an expansion, CDDR, rewritable actually, and it had a floppy and it had a built-in hard disk. So even in three places, and that actually served me well. After I sold it, I bought a rack version of it, which was a little bit less capable in terms of working with the media, but I exchanged the floppies for the USB, instead of a floppy, like emulator, and I keep the sounds there and the samples, and that works really well. But the important thing is that I managed to keep my sounds for more than 20 years, no problems with them. I was always able to read them and whatnot because I had them on multiple media at the same time, and floppies being one of them. I would also like that technology reimagined in some form with a larger capacity, because hard disks are. You remember the days in which we were constantly working with hard disk caddies on desktops, removing and adding disks. Most of them were not hot swappable as well, and the standards, I mean, parallel ATA, not necessarily hot swappable standard. Something like that, but on a larger capacity would be good.
Just a second.
He is going after a cat, I'm sure.
No, I wanted to mention something, because this is an old piece of equipment that I must say that
Yes.
is something that I'm severely lacking right now. So
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
No. I have only one of those, and
Thank you very much.
My cold dead hands. So this is the 3.5 and 2.5 inch drives, hot swappable, and it connects to USB on the other side.
Yeah, and SATA as well.
And it can connect to SATA, but also it connects to USB. So it's a thing that actually is something that I want to see resurrected. I would like to see more devices like this, because I was looking through some old or some technologies that I miss, and some of the things that I hoped that still exist. I know they existed, but they don't exist anymore. And one of those was this. This is something that you cannot easily buy.
They're unavailable. I found it on Amazon, but yeah, they're not available.
Yes and no. And I probably have another one. If I get that one, you'll get one.
Merci.
But the thing is that one of the things that I have seen that existed and that would make a lot of sense in order to restore old data would be a tape drive connected directly to the PC. By tape, I mean cassette tape. There was a cassette player, because the cassette players right now are available for something like 10 euros or so.
Okay.
There was a company that produced cassette tapes, players basically, not recorders, but
with
players.
USB, yeah.
No, this one actually produced a 3.5 inch version that would fit in a 3.5 inch bay, so you could use it in your directly in your case. and you could directly control it through the PC. So you were able to actually put in the tape and then just from the PC control everything on it.
There goes my Christmas present.
It's unavailable for the last 11 years or 12 years.
Damn it, eBay.com.
And I'm trying to find one that works. I have access to one that is completely broken. But by completely broken, I mean it's actually completely broken. Piece of the mechanism inside it broke because it was made of plastic, of course. So I'm trying to find a solution to get this thing back.
I did see a device like that. I think on LGR channel a while ago. I think he was playing with it. Okay. Sorry.
Now I have a completely non-IT technology that should be returned.
Sorry, it's my turn now.
Okay.
Wait with it. I recently went I have gone to sort of a shopping spree for older stuff. Some of them are in the office and obstructing the way of putting your ass on a sofa, like that hi-fi amplifier and CD player, which I need to bring home. But one other thing that you didn't see, I told you that I did this, but you didn't see it actually. I bought a VHS thingy. I still have a lot of VHS cassettes in one of my closets here in my apartment, and our generation at least. But actually, I went and bought one of the best models that ever existed, and my friend used to have it when we were much younger. So it's a 6-head version with hi-fi stereo, which translates into probably the best possible sound that you can get out of that type of media as well, with original remote as well, which works. I was very pleasantly surprised, and I like that device a lot. Of course, for the reasons that I mentioned already. So I have a whole bunch of cassettes that VHS tapes that I want to either digitize or just want to plain view at times. And B, I have a lot of recordings that we did in the studio for audio only, because one of the side effects of having hi-fi stereo was that the VHS tape was a kind of a very good media to store some of the, let's call, masters of some early productions that
especially Super VHS.
Yeah, it is.
VHS actually had high definition sound.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever passed as high fidelity with that back then.
Yeah, but still, it was way better than just a regular tape and much more durable because the media is much wider and the cassette tape is physically bigger, so it's much less prone to mechanical problems. As I'm rearranging the apartment, I recently bought one of the things that I'm going to do is old school, or in the office maybe where our studio is. I'm going to create a hi-fi stereo, hi-fi corner with those components, and we're going to have some fun for us old school guys. So yeah, I liked VHS a lot. I used it a lot. Unlike Betamax, I only saw one person in my life having Betamax device, and it was way back in primary school when that format war was still raging, which the Betamax lost comprehensively for reasons that are completely reasonable as well. And yeah, VHS tapes, maybe they're bulky, but they are very simple to use. Their long-term storage of them is relatively easy. They have those carton boxes that you put them in as a standard and whatnot. So yeah, VHS for me.
I'm not going to include any technology that is sequential. Sorry, sequential access to data is something that should belong to the past. Tape backups are an exception, simply because they are not meant to be accessed that much.
Yeah.
But if I need something that I want to access, it needs to be direct access only. Sorry, sequential storage, sequential media doesn't work.
Nobody cares.
Yes, I care, and since this is the you and me proposing different things that we should be resurrected, sequential media shouldn't be resurrected at all.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as I said, a completely unrelated technology that we are actually missing on.
Okay.
Glass as a packaging media.
Okay, I'm with you completely. I wanted to go there with you.
Glass bottles, milk bottles, jars, and everything else. I don't understand. I actually don't understand from the point of the consumer, why are we paying basically the same price that we were paying before for something that is inferior, packaged in plastics, when we could have glass as a packaging and storage solution. It is recyclable, it is eco-friendly, and the only reason why we switched was because of the producers, simply because they basically eliminated the need to clean, wash, recycle, and do everything with the glasses. What they did is they just switched over to plastic, and it makes much more sense for them because there is no return packaging. There is nothing to do with the packaging. There is nothing involved after they ship the product out.
Okay.
I would like to see the glass returned.
Yeah, the abundance of the chemical components that we use to make glass is also something that should be taken into account. When I was much younger, both you and I basically went through at least one part of our lives. We were exactly the same. You used to read a lot of computer magazines, follow along with the technology and whatnot. There was a time in the 90s and beginning of the 2000s when every single, computer magazine was raving about MO media, magnetic optic mixture.
Yes.
A lot of those were using some kind of a glass substrate, just like the CDs and whatnot. Yeah, I was hoping that it's going to become a thing, but it never really did, at least not on the mass market. They were used for a variety of different things outside of the regular IT that regular people every day use. But still, yeah. So it would really
I think that I know what the reason was. Basically, it is much easier to produce completely flat surface when it comes to metal and plastic than when it comes to glass, and because it simply is much more complicated to produce perfectly flat glass. But the thing is that I like the outside of the IT part of it, and I also find it strange that we completely got rid of CRTs.
Oh, that's a different topic.
Yes, but this is on the topic of a lot of glass at the same place. I find it okay. I know the reason why we got rid of those, but I'm still surprised that we didn't keep at least some CRT monitors for some specific usage scenarios.
Says a man who has a Sony Trinitron in his attic.
Yes, but I would like a new one.
Me
This
too.
is the thing.
I was
This is the thing.
thinking about this the other day as well. Yeah, completely the same.
I know what the downsides are. I know that there are huge problems with the technology, the resolution, and so on and so on and so on. But I would still prefer some of the things that the CRTs were capable that the current generation and the LCDs are not capable of doing. So I'm lacking and this is one of those things where I would even prefer to have, or I would like to have, an option of using technology that is less technical and, let's say, worse than what we have right now, because I cannot imagine having a 4K CRT. But still, I would like to see some options on that part in order to get some of the things, especially older games, back up and running.
Yeah, and the prices, as I'm mentioning it, I'm checking it. The prices of said Sony Trinitron on eBay are insane.
Yes.
Especially for the larger ones in good conditions, we're talking 500 euros plus easily. So, and they will always have a place for certain technologies that use that kind of output and input and whatnot. Those are really, really, really good.
I suggest that you take a look, and I'll suggest to everybody else to take a look at the amazing video about tracking down the world's biggest TV.
Okay.
There was a guy who spent something like 2 years and something like tens of thousands of dollars to get the biggest TV ever produced from Japan to United States.
How did that end?
And he actually got it.
Okay.
It's something completely huge. I'll find it and we'll put it in the description. But the thing is that it's an amazing story because this was the largest TV ever produced.
Okay.
Let me just quickly check. So the Shank mods, he was trying to find the TV, and the TV name is KX45ED1.
Okay.
41 being 45 inches of CRT.
Holy crap. That had to weigh a ton.
I think it's something like 200 kilos.
Okay.
It came with its own stand, of course.
Yeah.
Anyways, now it's your turn. I decided that I went with the glass. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to something that you do not expect, but I liked using it a lot. Instead of having all of these fantastically capable mobile phones and whatnot, as we mentioned in some of the previous episodes, I would definitely prefer to go back to something a little more simple, like BlackBerry device and whatnot. But on a side, I used to, and that was quite a while ago, I used to use a pager. I liked pager.
I had it on my list.
Yeah,
I had it on my list.
I liked having pager as one-way communication device a lot because people could page me, write me an email, or send me a message there. I could just receive it and read it, and I could decide whether or not I want to contact them right now or later or whatnot. It was a little bit less obtrusive and, let's say, abusive way of communicating with people without people getting to be, as they are today, very nervous if they see that you read the message and then they lack patience to wait for an answer and don't understand that people are actually working on something, or maybe they're in a meeting or whatever. So I liked having that, and I liked having it for another reason. It worked really well. It was quite reliable. It was working in every single situation all over the country whenever I was. Battery life was amazing. It lasted for days and days on end. But basically the death of the pagers was the proliferation and rise in popularity of the SMSs, the short messages, because for some reason we prefer two-way communication versus one-way, which again I understand. But yet again, these pagers are something that I saw mostly on TV in the shows where there were doctors and whatnot, because they were quite popular with people working, in terms of the medicine and whatnot. Yeah, that's my device that I really liked using, and they should come back.
Okay, so I have good news and bad news for you.
Okay.
Good news is that they actually never went completely away. The guys, ham radio operators from Germany created something called hampager.de. And they have their own network of pager base station, basically, or transceivers, that is capable. They're basically covering the entirety of the Germany, including some pieces of Austria and Switzerland and so on. And they have the actually available pages that you can actually buy commercially. And so the pager network is actually alive in Germany.
Yeah, and I can see the map. Basically, most of the Europe, northern of Austria, is quite well, let's say, covered with signal, and Spain and parts of Italy. Yeah, it's really surprising. I did not know that, actually.
And the other thing is that they are covering all the major paging protocols at the same time, because since this is an open source network and open source community push, they don't have a reason why they would just stick to one protocol. So you can actually use old pages from wherever they were produced, simply because they can be used, and they have something like 5,500 users right now.
I can see that large portions of the world are actually covered. Most of the US is covered. Parts of Latin America, there are bits and pieces of Asia and Australia as well. I'm quite surprising, actually, to see that. That's cool.
No, the thing is that ham radio operators tend to have this thing for trying to revive old technologies.
And there I was
and
thinking
make
that
them-
it's just a bunch of people who have too much time and equipment on their hands.
Yes, and this is the exact reason why they are reviving old technologies. One of the things that they are reviving right now, and this is going to surprise you, is VoIP network.
Okay.
Because they realize that nobody is using the tabletop phones anymore. So they are using old Cisco phones from 15 years ago and 20 years ago as a closed network that is directly connected between ham radio operators. So you can actually connect to the network, you can get your own username and password to connect to the network. There is an IPX somewhere, and you can connect to it, and then you can actually place calls to other ham radio operators.
Are they using Asterisk or something like that, or?
I honestly don't know. I know that they have something like 7,000 subscribers or so, and the network is becoming too large for them to be able to operate it, because as we all know, the problem with operating the network is that you have to talk to people from time to time. And people have questions about why something is not working, why something else is not working. And creating a network that is going to be decentralized and at the same time using only old hardware is going to bring you enormous amount of problems, and you need to have a call center, you need to have some things that are going to be messing with the users, and this is a huge problem.
Okay. Your turn.
Let me just quickly check what I also had written down, because I'm a little bit short right now on the ideas.
Oh, I'm not.
Sorry. Yes, plotters.
Plotters. Oh, I'm with you completely.
Plotters. I think that we have completely forgotten that we actually could be using plotters for some of the things. I'm not talking only about drawings. I'm talking about plotting and cutting. I'm talking about creating vinyls and so on. Because for some reason, if you want to buy a tool that is going to cut things, you can buy a laser cutter extremely cheaply.
Okay.
They're something like 160 euros right now for a pretty decent size, 40 by 40 centimeters. So you get your home brew laser cutter that's going to poison you with cyanide for only 160. The reason why I'm mentioning this is that people forget that when you heat up the vinyl stickers while cutting them, they actually produce extremely toxic fumes. Not only toxic, but extremely toxic fumes.
Says the man with multiple 3D printers.
Yes, but when I got the laser cutter, I actually got the hood for it and the fan that is connected to the window. So it is able to actually blow the fumes out. So this is the reason why I would like to see the return of the cutter and the return of the plotter. There are some plotters that are available, but I would like to see the return of the actual plotter that is capable of holding a pen, and that is not expensive.
Okay.
Because if you want to buy a plotter right now, so a dedicated pen holding plotter, it is probably going to be something like 2,000 euros or so.
For a decent one, A3 size or something like that. Yeah.
What they are doing is that they went way beyond A3 size, because they realized that they can use the same technology that the 3D laser cutters use. So what they are doing is that they don't have the area itself is not defined by all the sides. Instead, they have a rail. Then on the rail is another rail, so X and Y. But this is it. So you can actually get the X and Y rails that can be as big as 1 meter.
Holy moly.
So you can actually do what wasn't available when the plotters were available. because right now we have much more precise stepper motors, and the technology itself has matured.
Okay.
Carbon fiber, they're not called tapes. I think they're using the term belts. So carbon fiber belts in order to control the movement, and so on. Advanced, high quality, high powered servo motors that are capable of moving precisely, and yet are capable of moving huge amounts of mass, because what you need is you need to move the mass of the pen and so on. Created actually plotters that make sense, but they're expensive.
Yeah, sure they are. Okay, you ready for mine?
Yes. Yeah, basically not, but yes.
Programmable calculators.
Yes.
They have mostly been forbidden in terms of the idea of using them in education from secondary school onwards, which I can relate to mostly. I think it's a detriment to the progress of technology. I could use a super stupid comparison. For example, if people are able to use AI in education, whatever the level of education is, why couldn't they use a programmable calculator? As I'm sure you know, I own quite a few of those HPs, programmable ones, even back from the college days when they were at their peak in terms of popularity. A couple of years ago, I bought my son one as well, the best one that was available on the market at that particular time, with color screen and whatnot, which can do practically any kind of mathematics and physics and whatnot you want. The problem being that he is mostly unable to use it. Now he's in college and they are not really allowing them to use them. When we were in college, they were not forbidden way back then. They were not necessarily well known enough or something like that by the education staff, professors, assistants, and whatnot. Although some of them did, some of them did not. The reason why I'm saying this is actually not necessarily related to my comparison to AI. That's a little bit of a embellishment on my side. It's different. I have a real problem with people coming out of, especially engineering colleges, whatever the engineering might be. Is it, for machining? Is it electrical engineering, computer sciences, whatnot? People who go into, who have careers, future careers as designers of anything, and or people who have to do any kind of calculation, for them using some kind of a advanced calculating device, whatever the device, hardware or software might be, is a thing. I remember you probably also saw that movie Space Cowboys by Clint Eastwood with Donald Sutherland and Tommy Lee Jones and whatnot.
Yes.
There is a scene in it when they have a huge crash with a satellite, and then Donald Sutherland goes to a wall, and there's a small pocket calculator there and calculates something, whether or not they can grab it and return to Earth and whatnot. Basically thinking on your feet when the problem occurs kind of situation, which is what engineers do. But I'm more talking about the planning stage of this, especially the planning stage of this. I would like to see that return. I would also kind of openly state that the education part of the story is something that is partially obsolete all the way from primary school onwards, and we should teach people more mathematics and physics, not less. There are quite a few topics that we could cover as a part of that in education, not necessarily on the podcast. But the fun of using, and I'm sure you can relate to this, the fun of using those programmable calculators that could do your integration and derivatives and unit conversions and whatever, and plotting of all of the functions and whatnot, was actually a thing back in the day when we were in college, 20 something years ago. And the fact that the culture around that doesn't necessarily exist anymore, although the calculators do, but they are not necessarily getting developed anymore as much, is something that I definitely miss.
I'm going to go with yes. And the thing is that I would like for the, not exactly the, I'm not only going with the pocket calculators and programmable calculators. I would like the calculators as a form to return for a specific reason. There is a lot of times when I need to quickly do some calculations that I can do in millions of different applications, to be completely honest. And we must be completely clear with this. Whenever you're doing something, you can do it in Excel, you can do it in calculator in Windows, there are dedicated applications, so you can do it in a million different ways. But I'm missing the, I'm right now concentrating on a bunch of numbers on a single device with a single screen, and I need to do it, and I need to have it in front of me. So if I have a dedicated calculator on my table, I can, if I need to do some calculation, I can do it and then have it remain in one, it's not a screen, it's a device, so it's separate from what I'm doing, and I don't need to switch anything. It makes the thinking process much easier, especially for us older people who are actually used to having their calculations done in one place and then thinking done on the paper and or in the application. But while you were learning, you always had to do the calculation separately than the thinking.
Yep.
So the calculation was just a help for thinking. And this is something that I miss. I must say, I think that I'm going to go and buy a table calculator. And by a table calculator means actually a table calculator. So bigger keys, a bigger screen, and something that is actually capable of doing the what I need to do. So I need something that is able to actually calculate something for me.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, do we have any others?
No, I must say that I'm not going to say that I'm completely out of ideas, but I think that I ran out of ideas of the things that we should bring back.
I still have a few.
I have no, because I was thinking about the thing that we should be bringing in more.
Okay.
So there is a technology that has been around for the last 20-ish years, and I see that it is emerging as a new technology, but I don't like the speed and this is happening, and I'm talking about e-ink.
Okay, excellent.
The reason why I'm talking about e-ink is because e-ink is relatively cheap when it comes to huge displays.
Okay.
And what most of the companies and most of the research is coming and trying to do is they're trying to make faster displays, and then trying to make displays that have colors. From my perspective, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I would like much cheaper displays, and I would like to have displays in places where people don't expect them.
Okay.
For example, I would like to have a doorbell that has a display on it.
Okay.
That I can actually leave a message for somebody. So I can actually leave a message that's going to be there unless I change it, more or less forever. And this is the what e-ink does.
E-ink the doorbell-based answering machine.
No, not just the answering machine. Imagine just saying a quick note for the delivery man. Okay, you need to contact me on this number, or just leave the package.
That's actually quite useful. Yes.
And this is the thing that I miss.
Okay.
I would like to have a small screen in my car that would be windshield, so that I can leave a message for somebody if I want to do it. So I want to have a sort of a post-it note e-ink messaging thing that is capable of leaving the messages for different people that are not going to be changed regularly, but that could be used for things like calendars, for reminders, for timetables and so on. So I don't want all the screens to be high resolution 4K TFT whatever. Sometimes it's completely fine if the message is just a simple black and white message on the screen.
Okay, I'm with you on that one as well. I have another one which partially goes against what you said, but hear me out. And this is partially based on personal experience, partially based on some of the stuff that we discussed, and I know you kind of changed in the past couple of years and whatnot. I have a lot of stuff to say against any kind of smart home devices that are related to, let's say, doors. We talked about one of the aspects of that: smart doors on a car, opening by button. The weird shit that happens all the time when, I don't know, car stops working. You cannot open the door for reasons passing understanding because you cannot, I don't know, multimedia system needs to be on. It doesn't work. You have to touch screen a key to open the door, stuff like that. But extending that beyond the idea of a car, I really, really dislike any kind of smart doors for the house, for the apartment or whatever. For many reasons, I prefer regular mechanical doors with regular locks and keys. It's not only a force of habit. The digital smart locks and the way in which they are getting abused, the attack vectors, the cloud services that oftentimes come with them, the subscriptions, the complexities, the internet connection that oftentimes they require, and you wanting to do something remotely with your doors or something, yeah, I'm definitely not into that. You might be, but I'm not.
No, I'm not for digital doors. I'm completely so everything else inside my house can be digitalized and can be made smart. The lighting, the circulation, the air conditioning, the whatever. But I think that the doors should remain as they are right now.
Okay.
And the reason is the same that you mentioned. The thing is that almost all the solutions that are right now on the market when it comes to digitizing your door, if this is the correct term, are basically people who had never worked with an actual door or never thought about securing a door, just putting a device that is a quote-unquote smart device on the door, and then say, okay, this is going to be a digital solution, this is going to be great. And usually the device itself works, but the integration with the door itself doesn't work. So you are usually making the door much easier to go through, because you are misusing or completely not understanding the technology behind how the door should work and the locks. And inevitably what they're doing usually is that they have to create a way of being able to open the door when the power is off. And what they inevitably do is that that means that there is some sort of a fail-safe mechanism that you can use, and then this fail-safe mechanism fails miserably at being secure at all. And this is one of those things. It's just simply one of those things. It's just, it is. And I dislike the way that doors are created. I dislike the way that smart locks are done. And I specifically dislike the way that they are integrated into the smart house.
Okay, expand.
I don't want a Wi-Fi connected door.
Agreed.
I want a door that is able to tell me if it's open or not. But then it's not a door, it's a sensor on the door. I don't want the door to be able to communicate via Wi-Fi and then inevitably become a solution instead of a door. And because the correct term that you're looking for is the entry solution. So the entry solution, instead of being a door, usually has its own LDAP directory, users, permissions, times of entry, blah 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 blah, and then fails miserably when it comes to being able to be locked. And also requires internet, requires power. Doesn't have any backup if in case the power fails. Doesn't have any backup.
There are quite a few doors that do have battery built in, but that's a topic of another discussion.
Yes, but I'm not talking only about batteries when the power fails. I'm also talking about the simple thing is that a door is usually placed on the house and then used for tens of years.
Yep.
If the electronics fails for humidity, too many openings, frayed wires, whatever, you are going to be locked out of your house. Hey, hello.
Yeah.
This is not something that I want to do. I don't want to introduce another thing that can break into my house, because keeping the door functioning is going to require some effort.
Yep.
Everybody needs to more or less do something on the door every 10 years or so. You need to change the locks. You need to do some maintenance, because if you have any sort of burglary-proof doors, you need to do a little bit of maintenance of the mechanism, because after thousands of openings, it is going to wear down.
Yeah.
So I don't want electronics.
We had a couple of earthquakes a couple of years ago, and again, I recently had a situation in which I had to do a little bit of door maintenance because of the hinges that got a little bit warped and whatnot. So even without them, there are things to do, let alone if you
Yes,
have.
and this is 4mm steel.
Yeah.
That you need to do maintenance on. Now, now imagine having 20 euro electronics made in some forsaken no-name factory inside your door, because this is what is going to happen.
Yep.
Everybody's going to treat it as a commodity, and they're going to just put whatever works inside it.
Yeah. If you don't have any, I have two more things. I actually have way more, but I have two more that are completely computer related.
Okay.
The first ones, the first topic, absolutely, is dedicated sound cards, sound blasters.
Yes.
That's a metaphor.
Yes.
Not because of the, fashion of built-in sound cards are bad, or because the chipset-based sound cards are bad, or something like that. There's something just infinitely cool about having those devices, having to configure them, connecting them to your speaker system or whatever it was. Even the basic stuff like installing drivers. I would even go so far as to say something very stupid. In the good old days, the sound cards were also used as CD-ROM controllers. You used to connect to them directly for data connections, and also those small godforsaken cable audio cable that used to break if you moved it a lot. But still, today it's all digital audio. It's a little bit different. So sound blasters and their clones were so popular back in the day, in the 90s and the 2000s, but the sound kind of on a PC especially went in the other direction. It was more about high definition, and Creative Labs was a little bit slow with that, with good products. And then everybody wanted to integrate stuff. And as always, as you said, the factory got in some godforsaken place. It was all about get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. At the same time, as we discussed in multiple different episodes, motherboard designs are crap. And even with the cheaper, they are much more expensive than what they used to be 15, 20 years ago for the top level motherboards as well. And I also liked some of the capabilities which were unique to certain use cases. Me, as somebody who does music, loading sound phones, playing with them and stuff like that was just extra, cream on top. It doesn't have to be for everybody, of course, but it was cool. And the capabilities and some of the effects that they used to have hardware supported and whatnot were really, really cool stuff to have.
Yes, and while we're on that topic, I think that we should be starting to decouple all the things that integrate the motherboard from the motherboard. I think that we made our motherboards basically crappier by integrating everything on it, and then decided that we are going to be using the cheapest possible solution to do it.
Of course.
So the USB became worse, the sound became worse, the video became worse, and if we are taking the video as the 3D as a measure, why, if we have 3D capable cards, now I'm not talking only about high-end cards, but also lowish end cards, why is there not a dedicated card for sound? Why are there no dedicated USB devices, USB device cards that are available? Because suddenly, if you want to buy a dedicated USB, you can either buy more or less the same or even worse controller than you have on your motherboard, or you need to pay an insane premium to get the USB card that works.
Like Sonnet cards and whatnot. They are very expensive,
Yes.
yet excellent.
Yes, they're excellent, but the thing is that if I'm paying for my motherboard 300 euros, and I don't need a card that is 200 euros.
Or
and
more.
This is or more. So this is a huge problem because we don't have the middle ground. We don't have the mid-tier cards that are functional, they work, and they're not that expensive.
I think that the word that you're looking for is called choice.
This is one thing, and the other thing that I must say that I will probably already mentioned is that I want the AI people to go away with the idea of integrating the AI into the graphic card.
Okay.
I don't see a reason. Why should I be able to, or why should I be forced to pay thousands of euros for a high-end graphics card simply because they chose to include AI capabilities on it?
Okay.
There is no need to include 24 gigs of RAM on the graphics card simply for the graphics sake.
Okay.
What they're doing is they're pushing up the memory because they need to do the AI, so they need more memory, so the card is getting insanely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should switch to dedicated AI accelerator cards. So if you want AI, just buy an AI card, don't care about the graphics, and then we can decouple this part of the graphic card from the actual graphics card. So let's make extremely quick graphics cards that are still graphics, and then let's make the cards that are intended to be AI, that are going to be good at AI.
Agreed.
This is one of those things where we should be switching from having a single solution to multiple solutions that work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I have one more on my list, and I'm absolutely certain that you are going to agree with this one.
Okay.
It is absolutely insane that the industry went in the direction with the laptops in which expansions are almost impossible, and they got rid of PCMCIA, Express Card, and PC Card. This sort of technology on laptops was super useful for certain types of upgrades, and there were many that could be used. Yes, you could argue that a lot of stuff is available on USB, but that's not the same thing. You try to buy, for example, a USB SATA adapter and have that as a reliable solution. I have one that was made by somebody like OEC or Sonnet for many moons ago. Works perfectly. It is an Express card, by the way, which I cannot regrettably use in any of my laptops that I have right now, and I have like 7 or 8 of them. Actually, I have one that is 15 years old Dell XPS first gen, which has a slot for that in which it works, but that's that. It's not about the investment in the cards. I don't have many. I have 3 or 4. That's plenty. It's about having yet again a choice and the capability to upgrade if I need to. And the fact that again laptop designs, less USB ports and whatnot, again go against the idea of the upgrades. You usually require at least a couple of USB ports for things that you just need, like external drive and the mouse or something. And nowadays even top level super expensive stuff like MacBooks have, I don't know, 3 Thunderbolt ports that can be used as USBs and an HDMI port, which is insane for me, especially if you think about the episodes in which we talked about the laptop designs in the older ones, the red Toshibas that we discussed from 20 plus years ago, that had everything from FireWire to iLink to 6 or 8 USB ports, VGA, HDMI, and a couple of PC card slots on the side.
I'm going to say that I agree with you. It's not that I agree with you simply because it makes sense, but also because what has been taken away is the capability of having multiples of something that actually works.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to have, because of the bandwidth inavailability, if I want to have 2 high-speed devices, for example, let's say that I want to have 10G connectivity on my laptop.
Okay.
This is almost impossible using USB.
Yeah, you should have Thunderbolt for that, and those cards cost an arm and leg.
Yes, but why? On the desktop, the card itself is much cheaper.
Yep.
And the reason why it is cheaper is because it doesn't require 2 additional controllers to be able to connect. And having a direct bus connected to something, to any DMA controller, so either to CPU directly or to DMA controller, and the direct bus being actually available, like PCI Express was, makes sense. It doesn't have to be big. PCI Express on the motherboards is not that big of a connector. I think it should be accessible from outside. It's not hard to do. It's not complicated. Okay, it is an ingress port for dust, but this can be fixed.
Ingress port for dust, that's good.
I hope that we can actually find out a way how to stick some sticky tape over a small opening in the case and say, okay, this sticky tape prevents dust from entering in.
Or a piece of plastic.
But yes, but on the other hand, I have another controversial thing. And this controversial thing is, I think we should change the USB-C plug.
Oh yes, I agree.
I think that what we should do is that we should create a new set of plugs that would have a separator right in the middle so that you cannot plug it in a normal USB regular connector. And then make this connector actually work with higher loads and higher data traffic. Because right now I need to use a tester in order to make sure that my cable is at least capable of doing some things. It's not only that, for example, I'm using my phone, my Rode microphone right now to talk to you, and I have a separate cable that is connecting it when I'm using it on my computer. Right now it's directly connected, but when I'm using it on my computer, I'm using a Rode on USB cable. This cable functions correctly with the Rode. Yesterday I tried to, because the cable itself doesn't look inexpensive, it is completely fine. I tried to connect a USB 3 hard drive to it. It completely failed to load. And then I realized that it is on USB 2, basically.
Yep, because that's enough.
Yes, and the thing is that I don't know that. There is no marking on the cable, there is no warning, and then I need to think about it, then I need to take my tester out in order to test if the cable is capable of doing what I wanted to do. And it is one of the most annoying things that I have right now. I have probably 12 or 14 cables around me. Some of them are USB 2, USB 3, USB 3.1, USB 3.2, power delivery, whatever. And
that's my favorite topic. Power delivery cables that cost an arm and leg, yet they're USB 2.
Yes, because the power delivery part is we have more copper in the cable, and the rest of it is we don't want to have many more cable connectors. So this is the last thing that I wanted to mention.
Me too. Yeah, I'm happy with the topics that we covered. Anything to add, or should we close?
Yes, I want to show you something that is an incredibly useful tool, at the same time something that a lot of people don't understand they need. And
is it cauliflower?
Is
it a piece of paper, or is it a USB tester?
No, it's completely a different thing.
Okay.
This is a antenna pigtail cable. You see this. The idea of this cable is that it is intended to be used while the door is closed or the window is closed. So this is intended to be put inside your window frame and then be pinched by the window so that you can actually connect the antenna through the window. We need a thing like this for data cables, for network cables.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of things, a lot of places where I would like to have a cable dedicated cable go through my door without having to create a hole in the door or in the window, because it's going to be a temporary, but not so temporary. So I want to close my window while still having a cable that's going to go outside. This solves it.
That's so
It's a technology
so
that
you.
you don't know. Yes, but you don't know that you need it, but you actually need it.
Yeah,
It makes
I'm
sense.
completely with you on this one as well. I did not expect that.
So this is one of those things that you, when having a dark time and failing to fall asleep, you go through AliExpress and all different sites, and then you say, okay, this actually makes sense. This is not so stupid as most of the other things that I see are.
Okay. Well, good job, you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that we have covered at least, I think, the most of it.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this thing up. Any last words?
Famous last words. No, I'm done as well.
Okay, so thank you for being with us, and we'll be seeing you next week with something completely unrelated to this, because it would be hard to find something related to this thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us, and see you next week.
See you next
Bye.
week.